Good evening, all. The Civilians are here with Kerala's largest quiz competition event based on Engineers Day celebration. And myself, Srishma, the duty assigned to me is to welcome you all to this exciting occasion. Let me firstly invite our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. N. Anandavalli Ma'am, Director of CSIR SERC, to inaugurate these events on behalf for the MACE 3.0. Dr. N. Anandavalli Ma'am now serves as the Director of CSIR SERC after completing BE in Civil Engineering with a gold medal for obtaining University First Rank in 1991. And then she pursued her ME in Structural Engineering, and in which she ranked first. And also she holds PhD in Civil Engineering. She has been nominated by the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu as one of the Senate member of Bharathidasan University, Tiruchirappalli from August 2019. And now I also invite Vivekananda Pai sir, National Secretary of Vigyan Bharati, and Mr. Krishna Kumar sir, Chairman of Indian Concrete Institute of Trivandrum Chapter, and our Chief Patron, Dr. B.G. Sridevi ma'am, to join with us. And last but not least, I would like to invite you all to this function and make this MACE 3.0 event a great successful one. Thank you. And with this, I would like to invite Dr. N. Anandavalli ma'am to have the technical talk on creativity and innovations. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shrishma, for your nice introduction. And I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I'll just share my slide. Is my slide visible? And am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you and the slides are visible.
Thank you. Happy Engineers Day to everyone whoever is present here. And this talk is on creativity and innovation. And what a civil engineer can do, also I'll be covering it. So my presentation is what is the background in which we celebrate the Engineers Day, and what is creativity and innovation, and a bio-inspired structure and overview I'll be presenting, and about my institution, CSIR Structural Engineering Research Center. So Engineers Day, as we all know, we are celebrating on 15th September every year. It is in commemoration to appreciate the contributions of Sri Vishveshwaraya, who was the dreamer, thinker, and man of actions. And he is an eminent engineer, visionary, scholar, planner, and statesman. And he has crossed several significant milestones in his 101 years of life. So he was born on 15 September 1860, and he passed away in 1962. And our father of our nation, once during August 1927, he told Bhadravati, which was iron and steel plant, like Krishna Raja Sagar Dam, is a tribute to the patriotism and constructive genius of Visvesvaraya, who has placed talents, knowledge, and industry, and all his time and energy at the service of Mysore. One thing that strikes us most here is that the whole undertaking is from top to bottom a self-contained one. So it is the inspiration we can take from Visvesvaraya, that what is required. So he lived a life with full of work and unceased activity. And as a small biography, and his parents were Mokshakundam Srinivasa Shastri and Venkata Lakshmi Amma. And he was born in Modanahalli of the then Mysore kingdom, and he lost his father just he was 12 years old. So in those days it is very difficult, as we all know. And then he also realized at a very young age that he had to give his best, and there was no substitute for hard work. That we all have to learn from him, that with all the facilities we are having, I think we can, if the hard work is there, we can achieve many things. And he always topped with distinction from early schooling to high school or college or in engineering. He was always the top. And he led a very simple life, but his contributions are majestic. And to the India's infrastructure has contributed a lot. And the another thing I want to highlight here is that before accepting the position of Divan of Mysore, he told all his relatives that none of them would approach him for favors. So he was such a straightforward person. And during his tenure as Divan of Mysore, he has instituted many institutions like Bank of Mysore, sandalwood soap industry, promoting silks, iron and steel works in Bhadravati, Mysore University. So academic industry may it be a very tough one like iron and steel or promoting silk. Everywhere his presence was there. And he's the inventor of the block system, automated doors that close the water overflows, and he has implemented this also in few places. And when we look at the career of this great person, we can see he started his career as assistant engineer in 1885, and throughout his career he was doing many irrigation related things, and he was a great engineer. And if you tell his name, we cannot associate, like we cannot remove Krishna Rajasagar Dam in Mysore, which was the biggest in Asia at that time. And he has visited many countries during his period to understand what was done at other countries and implement them in our own country. And the as I had told earlier, his automatic gates, he has patented and introduced a new system of irrigation called block system in 1903. And he also was consulting engineer to Hyderabad state. And during the Hyderabad floods of 1909, he has carried out many engineering works. And then he retired from the service of British service, and he went on to chief engineer secretary to government of Mysore and Diwan of Mysore. And he was also board of directors of Tata Steel. So, and you can see some of his rewards like the Jawaharlal Nehru. He was during his centenary birthday in 1960. He has mentioned dreamer, thinker, and a man of action, not lost in the past, but always thinking of the future and living an integrated life, bringing into existence and giving shape to dreams, not for himself, but for India and the people of India. So you see, this we have to take it as an inspiration. So we all have to work towards creating a new India, like with a stronger India, maybe much stronger India, and India like Atmanirbhar India. And he always work and relentless activities, and coupled with discipline and clever time management. That was his motto. And he traveled, read, wrote, attended seminars, conferences, gave speeches on varied subjects. So he's man of few words, as we understand. And then he that is his motto is talk less, work more. And Diwan of Mysore, he has remarked on him, saying that Sir MV is a combination of endeavor, adventure, courage, intellect, capacity, and strength, and thereby enjoys God's grace. And for all his achievements, awards were aplenty, including British knighthood and Bharat Ratna. And during this, when he was awarded the Bharat Ratna, he has sent a word to Nehru's, the then Prime Minister, stating that if you feel that by giving this title I will praise your government, you will be disappointed. I am a fact-finding man. So it is his courage or his forthrightness that Nehru appreciated, and he requested him to accept the award. So the three qualities we can understand from him is the courage, patience, and the forethought. So these are few things which we have to take from the life of Vishveshwaraya. And his personal traits, if you see, he was a sharp intellect, ready wit, and a repartee, and a rare human being. So he practiced what he preached. And he had a considerable power and influence, but never misused them. and he worked tirelessly till the end, never perturbed by the death. Around his 100th birthday, when asked about his longevity, he said, "Death called on me long ago, but found me not at home and went away." So, but on April 12th, 1962, it came again, and this time he went. And in his own words, to give real service, you must add something which cannot be brought or measured with money. So that is the vision of uh, Vishveshwaraya. So these are some photographs which I collected from the internet. And then these are his documents, like you can see, Reconstructing India in 1920 has written, and Planned Economy. He's 1936. He has written a article, Planned Economy for India, and he has also recorded Memories of My Working Life. And Unemployment in India, the Causes and Cure. In 1932 itself, he has written on that, and his speeches are documented also. And this he in Government Press Bangalore has a brief memory of his complete working life. And coming to the topic of today's thing, creativity, invention, and innovation. So, what is creativity? It is imagining into something concrete. So, that is the first stage. So, if you start imagining, you will have some concrete ideas, but it has to take actually a form to get it implemented. So, it is creativity is like you have to imagine basically. So after this imagination is there, the second stage is you have to create a physical creation of the concept, whatever has come to your mind. And it need not be that we need not verify the idea works or it's commercially valuable. It is an invention. But innovation is these ideas has to be converted into business. So there is slight difference between invention and innovation. Innovation is always you have to put the ideas into business. And invention, the idea can work or it may not be even commercially valuable. But you have to have the physical verification of your new idea. So why creativity is important? It is always a fun, to be creative, and the child will be very creative if you see. As we grow up, our mind gets blocked with so many other things. So a child is always with an open mind, and it looks the things with a different mind, and the creativity will instill that good feelings of childhood days, and it will always make us feel alive. And then something new about ourselves, that also it will help us to discover, and it will be a boost in motivation, and self confidence and self esteem will grow, and we can be proud of whatever we have done, and it can also earn some more money. And it is not that it will take much time. It doesn't take much time. So creativity is looking things at a different angle. And then this we can see the first invention, the wheel, which has made us to move at a little larger pace. Maybe we were walking, then when the wheels were invented, we started moving at a little faster pace. And then it has led to other inventions, that as propeller, jet engines, wind turbines, so which is the wheel moving on an axis. So if you see, initially there were stone wheels, then they went to the uh, wood wheels, then we added the tires, then now we have got the pneumatic tires. So this one particular invention has changed a lot. It is, and now the other invention, what we can see is internet. We cannot imagine a world without internet now. And but one disadvantage is it has reduced our imagination power, because when you are very imaginative, this now if you want to think of something, we will google it. So our imagination power is little bit reduced. So if you start using it after uh, your imagination or something, then you can get a lot from the internet. We have to use it effectively. So the other one is smartphones. We all know without no mobile phone we cannot imagine our each day. and it is like our sixth finger, or our mind, our assistant, and finally our boss initially. And then our mobility has reduced due to the smartphones. Some advantages there, some disadvantages there. It is up to us to use it effectively in a very creative or a productive manner. And printing press, if you see, this is one invention that has helped us to document the history, and the knowledge also gets transferred through generations. So right now we are going with the Internet of Things. So we are connecting everything through the internet. Even the sensors can be embedded in the body, and the doctors can uh, get the data sitting at some other place. That is the way the things are going. So, with that background on innovation and creativity, let me take how we can get inspiration from nature itself. So, it is innovation which by inspiring from nature. So, the world most famous engineer of all times, Leonardo da Vinci, and he's also a student of nature. So, he tells nature relevance to engineering is human ingenuity may make various inventions, but it will never devise any invention more beautiful, nor more simple, nor more to the purpose than nature does. If you think any single thing, you can see the nature, it will give us the solution. So the God has created the nature such that whatever issues there, you can search for a solution in nature. So actually, technology and nature was thought as two different worlds, but now they aren't. So we have a lot of technologies based inspired by nature, and it is also exciting and fascinating to know how nature phenomenon happens. And nature itself is an engineer, and nature has extensive talents. And basically we require inquisitiveness to know how nature works, how this could help us or use to solve our problems. So bio inspired engineering, or biomimicry, or biomimetics, abstraction of good design from the natural world to inspire engineering solution. So, what is basically bio-inspired solution? It is, as explained earlier, it is inspired by nature's structure. So, by if you Wikipedia, if you search biomimetics or biomimicry, is the imitation of the models, systems, and elements of nature for the purpose of solving complex human problems. And human natural material. Earlier, we were using bones, wood, and shells as tools or instruments, and we started using improved materials from such natural materials. So as we have seen, the bone we replaced with something else, and wood with something else, improved materials, and later we replaced this with the synthetic materials for improved performance. And for achieving distinctive properties, human derived source of inspiration from natural structures. It is always um, uh, human were deriving source of inspiration. So examples, if I take a simple search for material with two structural properties, strength and toughness. Strong materials are invariably brittle, and tough materials are frequently weak. So how to combine this when we need both strength and toughness? And if we search nature, there is a solution for that. Tooth enamel or the nacre is a thing where both things are there, brittle as well as the strength as well as toughness is there. Unique aspect is different structural orientation, and hard surface to resist wear, and tough surface to accommodate increased deformation. This is different from human-made hard materials such as ceramics designed for total fracture resistance. So, if you look at this nature, it gives us a solution. So, with that, we can proceed. So, of all times, the best example or the best bio-inspired invention which we can recall is aircraft, which is inspiration from birds. So, there is a Tamil song Vima Paravai Kandan Vimanam Padaitan, that after seeing the birds, the men has created the aircraft. And it is always our aspiration to fly that has created this. So when we see the birds, we also want to fly. That is why this invention had happened. And they all there were long time people were trying to do this by flapping wing like appendages strapped to their bodies. And it all started with 1977 with the Englishman George Cayley, who documented this observation of bird flight. So, and he also created a theoretical framework that underlies modern human aviation today. So, from this theory and their own observation of bird flight, Wilbur and Wright, they were developed the first successful engine-powered fixed-wing airplane in early 1900s and established human aviation technology. From then, people started flying, and this is the inspiration. And then the glider what they were trying to fly in 1902. And controlled Wilbur is able to make a controlled turn utilizing wing warping, the origin of modern day aliens that allow today's airplanes to bank. And it is a breakthrough enabling Wright brothers to success. And the behavior with the turkey vultures, so they have seen the turkey vultures, and then from that they got the inspiration that was observation, that observation lead to this invention. So the other thing is a velcro. All of you would have been using this velcro all the time. Like without that a world is not there. And world with for joining two things. So it is the before middle of 20th century, a velcro-less world was existing. Zippers or lasers were used. Now in 1941, a Swiss engineer, he noticed when he went for a walk and came back, a plant seed sacks were clung to the surface of his dog and to his pants. So finally, he analyzed this and found out there are small hooks which were clinging to the surface. He designed the Velcro two-sided fastener, one side with stiff hooks and the other side with soft loops. So hook and loop principle, and Velcro is derived from Veller from croquet. These are the two words from which the Velcro is obtained. The word Velcro is coined. So these are the one another invention that is inspired from the nature. And also when we see the gecko feet, this is when we want to climb the glass buildings. So the gecko based adhesion is used nowadays. And this is like a giant, Madagascar, they have this giant leaf tailed gecko. And the gecko has an enormous surface area of the nanoscopically textured feet. If you see the zoom and see the feet, it is like this, like a nanoscopically textured feet, and fuse with the atoms temporarily as they walk on. That was used to create this invention. So the other uh, thing was the bullet train. If you see the bullet train, it is the fastest train in the world. But the air pressure when the train emerges from the tunnel produced a loud noise. That was a problem with the bullet train. So they were searching for some solution where they can reduce the noise for environmental as well as human experience consideration. So they were looking in this. Then they got an idea from the kingfisher birds, and the model of the nose is based on this. The nose of the kingfisher bird was used to model the nose of the train. And this is like it is gradually increasing diameter from the tip to the head, allowing them to dive at high speed into water with hardly any splash. So if you see the kingfisher, it will dive like anything without any splash because its arrangement of its beak is like such that. So it starts with a very sharp point and then ends with a larger diameter. So the same geometry was adopted in the bullet train, and the noise was reduced, and the overwhelming functional benefit was there. And the newer trains were quieter, 10% faster, and 15% less electricity than the previous model. So we can see the bullet train how was inspired from nature. So the other one is a bionic car. So bionic car is developed by Mercedes Benz. It is based on the observation made on the box fish, and then it drives at without a hybrid engine, 84 miles per gallon. And then it is from the behavior of these box fishes that they were able to make the geometry in similar way, and then without additional weight, they could have this lighter framework and the car one-third weight of the comparable and conventionally designed vehicle, and also crash safe. And if you see the BioWave, this is a recently happening one. It is under testing. So this is like from the underwater sea plants, the swaying motion from that people are trying to generate electricity, and then the three buoyant blades, they constantly oscillate to the motion of the sea, and they according as they sway, electricity is generated. And then when we come to the structural thing, canopy structures, it is based on the tree. If you see a tree, you can see a main bark is there beyond, and you can see it covers a larger area. If you go under, it covers shades a lot. Larger area. So this was used, and the fractal geometry was used to create the efficient shape seen in nature. And this has created a lot of interest in the people. And then this is a, I think, German airport is based on this design. And then this space and elegance with a large interior space. So without any beams or columns, you could create a large space for the thing. And structural steel also it has reduced. And traditional design, if you go into traditional design, it will have lot of columns which are spaced together and functional load paths, and it is like mimicking the branch nature of the tree canopies and innovated at a simple design. So it is a simple design but innovative. And then these are some of the recent researchers. And then this is from shrimp fish. They were trying to create a fabrication of high performance impact resistant composites, and the reason is high velocity blows, it can withstand high velocity blows. And the shape is one thing, bolig and shape. And honeycomb, as we have seen, honeycomb structure is used in many places, and these are used in military vehicle tires. And it helps in reduction in the noise levels and heat generation. And the third one is conch shells. This is based on this. We have created helmets and body armors. So it has got a multi-layer, 3 layers, and better impact resistance and zigzag pattern is observed. And another impact resistant design, they have used composites. It is also from Acta Biomaterial. So it is a helicoidal arrangement. It increased impact resistance and energy absorbance. And they have conducted some numerical and experimental studies. And some of these are in practice also. An impact and blast performance enhancement in bio-inspired helicoidal structure. This is again a helicoidal structure, and these are based on the helicoidal structure and Bolligand inspired bionic structure. And it has got a high impact strength, and the composite underwater impulsive loading. They have used the shell structure. So that has created multi-layered structure, and it improves energy mitigation capacity and localized impact damage is observed. So and the other one which is based on natural fish scales. If you observe this fish scales, some inspiration they have got, and then they have created from the crocodile skin and the armadillo the scale configuration. So it has helped to decrease in flexural stress and fracture. And dragon skin, so this is also used in some as inspiration, and they have used in body armor testing. And there is a impact resistance. Against impact resistance, many such materials are available. And then this is a bio-inspired aluminum honeycomb structure where the impact resistance is very high. And also the box fish and armillo fish are used for composite segmented armor. And these are multi-layered structure of a fish scales. Alligator gar, if you see this alligator gar, it has got an enormous impact resistance, so to cut it it is very difficult to pierce the body of that. So when they analyzed the structure, they could see the layers, different layers were used for different purposes, and these are used to create the multi-layered structure. And then similarly, if you see the impact behavior of these fish scales of alligator gar, it is also has got some impact resistance and protective scales are there. So they are being explored. And then these are some of the bio-inspired protective scales. So if we summarize these all these innovations through bio-inspired inspiration, there are two approaches basically you can see. One is design looking to biology, that is top down approach. So it is basically problem driven. First design needs, then look for solution in nature. So first we will design, then we'll look for the needs, we'll look for solution in nature. The other one is biology influencing design. So this is bottom up approach. We have some solution. So that identification of particular characteristics and then translation into design. So one is from the search for biological analogies and appropriate principles we have to identify, and then we have to test, analyze, and then design solution. Bottom up approaches, like from the biological research, we will have some biomechanics or functional morphology or anatomy and understand these principles, and where this implementation is there, that we have to use for design solution. So at different levels also these bio-inspired structures are applied: organism level, behavior level, and ecosystem level. So it is a behavior. First one is that this mimicry of the specific organism, and the second one is how the organism behaves, and the third one is a mimicry of an ecosystem. So the architecture looks to the organism itself, and its form or the function is applied to the building. And behavioral level, how the organism interacts with its environment, that is used as the inspiration, and that is for the surrounding environment, how the structure can be used. The other one is the entire thing, like a building an ecosystem, how the environment, many components work together. So it is for urban scale or larger projects with multiple elements rather than a solitary structure. So we'll see few examples for each thing. First level is the organism level, where this is a bird's nest stadium. So iron bars are like bird's nest, and then the designer used the simulation technique to simulate temperature, wind power, and humidity inside the structure to allow the audience to enjoy the lighting. So the success of this structure design became, it is a strong structural system, unique architectural formation is there because it is from the nature, and then it has got aesthetic values, and energy is also rationalized because natural ventilation and lighting is there, and operating cost is also reduced, and energy consumption is less, and pollution is also reducing pollution from the building. So these are the first organism level form. Here they have imitated the form. The second one is the behavior of the organism. If you see the same environmental condition, human as well as the living other living organism, we live in this world. We coexist. So organisms solve their problems within the limits of energy and material availability. So they continue to adapt to the change. So they search for solution. They adapt to the change. In behavioral level biomimicry, it is not the organism itself, but its behavior is mimicked. The heating and cooling from the termite mounds that is used, and the ventilation inspired from the termite thing. So that they have implemented in Zimbabwe this particular aspect, how the cooling and heating is achieved. So this has helped in like a reduction in the energy consumption, and it is the clever system of air pockets which was adopted by the insect, and natural ventilation through convection. So this was adopted, and then the East Gate Center was in Zimbabwe, and then it is cooled with the outside air. No other air condition is there. The system uses only 10% as much energy as conventional air condition to drive fans that keep the air circulating. So that is the advantage. So here the behavior of the organism is considered, not the form or the organism itself. The third level, the ecosystem. Eco-mimicry is mimicking of the ecosystem. It can be used in conjunction with the other two levels. It is based on the principle of sustainability and circular economy. So no byproduct is there. Here, one such example is California Academy of Science Museum. The green roof was designed by the architect. An undulating green roof that will mimic the slope lines of the surrounding landscape. So it is the in between the landscape. We also simulate the roof in some similar to the landscape. And then institutional green building, it is also a green building. Most cutting edge energy efficiency strategies were used, and daylighting, and possible biofuels and water reclamation. So these are the aspects which the entire ecosystem was used. And then the success of the design is the roof itself is estimated to prevent approximately 2 million gallons of rainwater from becoming stormwater runoff. So this is one advantage. And then storage system for ice for cooling agricultural inclined plains without sliding took a patent with biotree that they have called taken a patent called biotree. And the stations to monitor the changes in temperature, wind, rain, all these are automated to the ventilation. So some projects, as listed here, these are some projects where different levels are being used. Organization level, the natural inspiration is our human spine that has been used in the project called HSB Tersing's torso. And then similarly, soap bubble, they have used Munich Olympic Stadium. It is behavioral level. And if you see the system level, natural ice formation, that is has been an inspiration. So organization level, if you see, leaf it has taken, and then the Times Eureka Pavilion is constructed based on this. There are many such things available. And if I want to summarize this bio-inspired structure, there are five different aspects like bio-inspired thin wall structure under which straight tubes and tapered tubes are there. Bio-inspired plates where the sandwich panels, bio-inspired sandwich panels and the plates are there. And there are cellular structures also, foams, lattices, and honeycombs. These are cellular structure that was inspired from the uh, bio nature. And then interlocking structures in graded concrete, these are some civil structures. And double helical structures. And if I had to expand this, this is taken from a paper, recent paper, where they've done an elaborate thing on this bio inspired. So if I anything, bamboo is a inspiration where multi-cell tube is inspired from that bamboo or a horse tail. And then similarly coconut trunk or the horns, everything, if you see and analyze the things, you can understand. If you watch for how the nature behaves, we can get some ideas or solutions for our problems. So if you see beetle or turtle, it is based on this, the fiber reinforced pieces are created. And corrugated core, the beetle again is used. And bio-inspired interlayers, bird beaks are there. And similarly, fish skin is overlapped structures, and seashell is used for cross-laminar structures. And then other foams like you would have there are a lot of foam structures where reduction in weight is there. So some turtle, these things were inspired to create that, and also plant stem, spider web. All these have created inspiration, and these are some of the concepts that they have developed, and some of them are also implemented in practice. So if I my third part of the lecture, like where the institution where I'm working, like CSIR Structural Engineering Research Center, Chennai. So it is one of the national laboratories under Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and most of the work what we carry out is based on the structural engineering research. So we have identified four different thrust areas: structural health monitoring and life extension, disaster mitigation, advanced materials for sustainable structures, special and multifunctional structures. So if you had to design any structure, so the first thing is you have to understand what is your need for analysis or design has to be done. Keeping that in view, the theoretical and computational mechanics laboratory was created. So after analysis, for analysis, the important thing is the material behavior. So there are two laboratories which concentrate on that: steel structures laboratory and advanced materials laboratory. They'll be working on the material point of view, and they also involve in creating new materials. And then once these structures, we need to estimate the loads. Normal loads is estimated, but we the seismic loads, like advanced seismic testing and research laboratory, fatigue and fracture laboratory, and wind engineering laboratory are involved in these kinds of load estimations through experiments. And then we have the um, after construction of our structures, it is essential to understand, maintain them, and then to assess their health. We have got two different laboratories: health structural health monitoring laboratory and advanced concrete testing and evaluation laboratory. So based on these things, we have got a for to handle the new areas of research, special multifunctional structures laboratory. So from the functional aspects, how to improve upon the multifunctional nature of the structure. So SMSL is based on that. And finally, our tower testing research station is a full scale testing laboratory for transmission line towers, mainly transmission line towers. And the many of our research are relevant to the government of India initiatives, and there are 10 laboratories as a whole. And next few slides I'll be highlighting on whatever is contributions made by these laboratories. So the major significant achievements is one is the import substitution. Towards that, we have worked on cold worked reform bars, and the use of fly ash in prefabricated channel slab construction was also an achievement of Structural Engineering Research Center. We also have the design of machine foundation, which is still being used by the practicing engineers. And then for shock loaded structure in the area of strategic structure, we have used the laser reinforced concrete construction in detail testing. Everything we have been coordinating with the defense laboratories. And then for save people from the cyclone, aerodynamically shaped cyclone shelter was contribution from Indian Engineering Laboratory. And then we have got textile reinforced concrete building elements, a recent development, and a engineered precast technology for affordable housing, and fatigue performance of critical industrial and strategic structures, and support towers for wind engineering generators. These are some of the achievements. And lab wise, if I go, this is the advanced concrete testing and evaluation laboratory. If you see, the conditional assessment of fire affected concrete structures was one of the major achievement, and practically this was done in the LIC building of Chennai. And then we also have mega structures concrete quality assessment, and our scientists do periodically. They are involved in chimney, cooling towers, waterfront areas, bridges, turbo generator, where these structures are analyzed for their quality and the life extension and other things. And recently, we are involved in the non-contact techniques and aerial robots, and also composite bridge deck system for fast track construction. These are some of the things. And advanced materials laboratories. So structural concrete with fly ash aggregates, that was a major breakthrough. And we have industrial waste. We have created alternative binders and aggregates, and recycled concrete aggregates were also some experiments were done. And utilizing fly ash based concrete for structural applications and geopolymer concrete. And recently we are also involved in the 3D printing of concrete, and ultra high performance of concrete structural members. This is also being carried out. And advanced seismic testing and research laboratory. The right side picture shows the overview of the A-Star laboratory, and this has got two different facility. One is the shake table, which can be used on the 6 degrees of freedom can be operated on that. And then there is a pseudo dynamic testing facility also. So if you see, large size models of RC and masonry buildings have been done over the shake table. And then retrofit metrology for seismically vulnerable open ground story buildings have been done. And the people have also worked on the probabilistic approach for design of buildings with shear walls, and magnetorheological elastoma based smart seismic and vibration isolators were developed. And then some future ideas is real-time hybrid testing and development of resilient cities. Then fatigue and fracture laboratory, if you see, this is one area where I think a unique test facility where this fatigue of oil offshore components, structural components have been tested. And then this is we get periodically from strategic and energy sector and rails, automobiles, and also on the construction sector like TMT bars and other things, where they are tested for their fatigue behavior. And under elevated temperature, that is the area which we are focusing, and the functionally graded materials also in the pipeline. And structural health monitoring laboratories, field investigation, we have done number of such field investigations, and assess the health of these existing bridges. And then also in service lowering of pipelines like gas pipelines, that is also done. Many such lowering profiles we have given to our clients. And then the future area what we are planning is robotic based structural health monitoring, and also the digital twin also is being part of that. And special and multifunctional structures laboratory is where nano behavior, like nano mechanical properties of hydrated cemented composites using simulated nano indentation test, and multi-scale modeling techniques are also being used. And acoustic emission techniques are used for decoding of cement hydration process. And the future areas is innovative and robotic strategies for continuous health monitoring of critical infrastructure, and FRP structural elements for lightweight and fast track construction of civil infrastructure. So also self-healing materials, some development we are having in the pipeline. And also pipeline health monitoring of pipelines using wave propagation technique. These are all in our pipeline. And if we look into this steel structures laboratory, our contribution towards the design guidelines in BIS 800 is commendable. And then we have also involved in the cold form steel foam concrete composite walls. And then also we get involved in the steel structural components and the simulated corrosion and elevated temperature conditions. And in future we'll be using going for composite construction. And these are some of the experimental things which we can see here. And theoretical and computational mechanics laboratory, We have involved in the inspection, in-service inspection of safety-related systems, and glazed steel concrete composite is one system which has been developed. It is an innovative system where it has been patented internationally also. This is its purpose is for blast loading, to resist blast loads, and textile reinforced polymer modified mortar for structural retrofitting. And areas for future is multi-scale modeling. We are concentrating on it. And then controlled blasting for safe demolition of structures, and AI machine intelligence techniques also, and the biomechanics for design of innovative structure. These are all in our pipeline. And then this tower testing research station, as I told, it's a unique facility where full-scale towers can be tested, and we have developed an emergency retrieval system, and also use evolution of hybrid towers with glass fiber reinforced plastic and steel, and the optimum configuration is for transmission and communication towers. So, future we are planning for remaining life assessment and development of self-supported hybrid masks. And finally, our wind engineering laboratory, where a scaled model of the structures are being tested in the boundary layer wind tunnel, which is we can get the interference coefficients and other things from this, and we have contributed immensely to the BIS codes. And some of the future areas where hybrid CFD and wind tunnel approach for evaluation of wind loads, and risk analysis and a multi-hazard situation. These are some one towards development of a resilient structure. So I would like to acknowledge the organizers of Civilian Maze and for giving me this opportunity, and Ms. Shrishma and Sri Akil of Civilianz, and I convey my thanks to Sri Vivekananda Pai, Secretary Vijnana Bharati and Swadeshi Science Movement, and Engineer Krishna Kumar, Chairman of Indian Concrete Institute, Trivandrum Chapter, and Energy Conservation Society of Kerala, and my team, CSIR Structural Engineering Research Center. This picture shows the overview of our campus. And I would like to end with a Tirukural, Arumai Udaitanta Asavamai Vendum Perimai Muyachitarum, which means that yield not to the feebleness which says this is too difficult to be done. Labor will give the greatness which is necessary to do. So it is actual meaning is that if a mind which says you cannot do, don't listen to that mind. You will achieve it. You think of uh, the greatness which we'll get out after doing a necessary task. That will give the all the energy to do that. If you think of the fruit, then you will have the energy to do all these things. So with that, I thank everyone, and I'm open for discussion.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable, such a nice presentation on how the engineering aspects are related to nature. And now we have to move on to some of queries from our listeners. Ma'am, the first question from Manoj: does biowave have anything to do with tidal energy? Are they similar?
Uh, this aspect actually, tidal energy is on the surface. We'll have the tidal energy. This is, I think, this biowave is under like near the ocean floor. I think this. I don't know exactly what is the difference between these two things. Only this, what I understand, this is at a very in depth, I think, deep inside the ocean. That is biowave, and tidal energy is like on the surface. We'll have due to the tides.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. And moving on to the next query, it's from Febin. Ma'am, can these bio-influenced structures be more sustainable? How can we improve the sustainability of these modern structures?
Yeah, this nature itself is a sustainable thing. So it finds out like whatever we do, like the nature, it incorporates that inside the whatever we are having. So the materials also, we can look into a sustainable material to create these structures. And I think we can improve upon the sustainability. There should not be any issue with the bioinspired, only the forms and other things, or the material itself we can take from the nature itself is sustainable, so there should not be any issue.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And this is all about discussion session.
Mm.
Now, let me invite Vivekananda Pai sir, National Secretary of Vigyan Bharati, to have few words on this occasion. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anandavalli madam, for such a fantastic presentation, which is so relevant to our engineering students as well as the future engineers, because only creative thinking can create beautiful buildings, structures, and engineering marvels. So your uh, beautiful presentation on biomimicry and learning from nature is very inspiring. I heard a part of it. So I am sure that our students will take the message, get inspired from this talk, as well as and try to incorporate their these thoughts in their future career. And especially that final quote from Tirukkural on getting beyond our weaknesses of the mind and achieving what seems to be impossible. Actually, that creates a that was the icing on the cake, as we may say. uh, we have such beautiful structures in our land. In Tamil Nadu itself, we have the Brihadishwara temple, more than 10 centuries old, as well as the Kallanai, uh,
Mm.
that dam,
Irrigation.
which is more than 20 centuries old. And they are standing the test of time. Such a long time they have been there, and still they are functional entities. So there is so much to learn from them. The kind of perfection in mathematics, the kind of perfection in their engineering skills, the kind of perfection in the art of building, that is amazing. And I'm sure those people have, as your quote from Tirukkural mentioned, they have definitely gone beyond whatever human weaknesses that might have occurred. And our land, Bharat, is strewn with such structures in Karnataka, in Kerala, in Andhra, in Telangana, in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan. We can see beautiful structures standing the test of time and still coming up. But somehow, during the past few centuries, we have been missing that self confidence, and that is where that such inspiring words will give us the confidence. And extremely thankful to you for accepting our invitation for this program and making this presentation. Also, this is the third edition of Civilianz Maze, as well as we are also in the midst of the 75th year of India's independence, Swatantrata Ka Sangram. And one of the things that we have realized in recent days is that the amount of uh, achievements that many of the Indian scientists did during the last decades of 19th century and the initial decades of 20th century, they have been amazing. And one of the important inspirations for those scientists like Prafulla Chandra Rai, Jagadish Chandra Bose, Meghnad Saha, Satyendra Nath Bose, C.V. Raman, a long list of scientists who had global success level, who had contributions that are at a global stage, and also their contributions are influencing our science and technology even today, like J.C. Bose generation of microwaves, or Satyendra Nath Bose theory of bosons, what we recently found, the God's particles, and we all know that the Bose in the boson is Satyendra Nath Bose. So such achievements they could achieve because they had taken pride in their work, and they wanted to show the rulers of that time, the foreigners like the British, that Indians are no less. So that is the kind of inspiration, and that is why C.V. Raman could achieve the first Nobel Prize in Science outside of Europe in 1930. And he could achieve it not in a lab built by the British. He achieved it by doing research during his spare time in a lab built by Mahendra Lal Sarkar in the name of Indian Academy for Cultivation of Science. So the Mahendra Lal Sarkar built that lab because he wanted an institute by the Indians for the Indians. And Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, the Nobel laureate, said that India could produce 5 or 6 world-class scientists during the initial years of the 20th century because they were fired with a passion for national pride. So that is also another message that Swadeshi science movement would like to propagate among the engineering students of our country, and suggest that let us not be copycats, let us be original thinkers and achieve let us achieve originality, new thinking, new technologies, new achievements. And just like we say in the Olympics that higher and longer and faster, like that we can go higher and higher. There is no end to human creativity, there is no limit to human creativity. So we can really create that kind of an ecosystem of thinking in our academia. That is one area where our new national education policy is supposed to build, allow students to go across different kind of subjects. Because earlier we were thinking in terms of silos, like in terms of the chemistry, physics, biology, and like that. The new national education policy has opened up. People can take maybe physics as well as music, engineering as well as dance, and like that. So that itself will give a lot of fillip to the creative thinking processes, because we have to take away this huge barrier between humanities and science and technology, because thinking is an ecosystem. As you talked about the ecosystem, now we have an opportunity. The policy level itself, we are getting that opportunity to take care of that. So that aspect also we let us utilize, and looking forward to guidance from you, Structural Engineering Research Center, for our engineering students in some way. And this inaugural program of this year's Engineering Day celebrations has been we are extremely fortunate to have you and this fantastic presentation on this. I am also thankful to my colleagues in Swadeshi Science Movement, in Civilianz, Dr. Krishna Kumar of Indian Concrete Institute, Trivandrum Chapter, Indian Geotechnical Society, then Dr. Shri Karim of Jai Bharat Group, then Kerala Self-Financing Management Association representatives. Everyone has contributed in the successful conduct of this program, and this is the 5-year program, 5-day program, and on 15th this will culminate on the birthday of Chandrasekhar M. Vishesharaya. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such an inspiring words. Now, let me invite Mr. Krishna Kumar, sir, Chairman of Indian Concrete Institute, Trivandrum Center, to have a few words for us.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening,
It has
sir.
been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure and privilege for us to associate with a program like MACE. MACE 3.0. ICA Civilianz and the Science Movement have been part of the journey right from the beginning. And this being our third year, we are extremely proud and fortunate to have Dr. Anandavalli ma'am as our inaugural speaker. Incidentally, ICA has got a slight connection with SERC. Indian Concrete Institute was founded in 1982 with jointly by SERC Chennai and Anna University. Subsequent to an international seminar on concrete. So from the initial days onwards, SERC and ICA has been keeping a very good rapport, very good relationship, and SERC Chennai has been instrumental in the development of ICA to a large extent, I would say so. So we are extremely thankful to SERC. And now today, ma'am, from being an engineering person's perspective, dealt not only on the contributions of SERC with regard to formulation of IS, BAS codes, whether it's 800 or 875 or 15498, 15499, and all those things. And she talked about the facilities in SERC, like theoretical and computational mechanics lab, structural health monitoring facilities, tower testing and research stations, and not to speak about the extensive work they are doing on fiber reinforced concrete, high performance concrete, and so on. So in addition to all these things, she also dealt upon the role and the need to preserve our nature, and just been a very heartening to note that engineers of modern day are more focused on sustainability, and SERC under ma'am's leadership is taking extremely innovative steps to ensure that this balance or harmony act is being maintained. So we are extremely thankful to you, ma'am, and we have been extremely fortunate and privileged to have you as our inaugural talk. Thank you, ma'am. Now, my dear friend Vivekananda Pai has always been with us right throughout the journey, and so I also thank Vivekananda Pai for his sincere and earnest efforts to see that the MACE 3.0 gets off to a grand launch. So thanks to Pai. Also, the organizers of Civilianz MACE 3.0 and the other associate partners in this journey, Trivandrum, IGS Trivandrum Center, Jay Bharat Group, Kerala Self-Financing Engineering College Association, Energy Conservation Society. I also thank them for their contribution and support in this journey. So thanks to all. Not last but not the least, let me thank all the persons who attend this webinar. Thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for valuable words. Now, let me conclude with, we have to move on to the wind-upping session. Let me take this chance to thank you, Dr. N. Anandavalli ma'am, for her valuable time with us and her valuable presentations and informative informations for us that given to us. And I also would like to thank Vivekananda Pai sir and Mr. Krishna Kumar sir for their valuable time with us. Last but not least, I would like to thank each and everyone present here on the behalf of entire Civilianz family. Thank you all.